Kilbourne. By far my favorite school. It's a beautiful building. It's a very tight site. It's a beautiful site though. It has a beautiful front yard. It represents to me an urban school, urban suburban type of school. It actually, size-wise, it's programmatic spaces. The gym, the library, the classrooms are all compliant with the school design manual. Really the most compliant school you have. The notable exceptions are the kitchen and cafeteria. And if we go to a 600 student school, by the OSDM standards, you need 3 to 5 more classrooms. I think you've probably had, you've probably had 600 plus kids in this school before and not noticed it. And when I went to grade school, we were 32 kids per classroom, and we had hundreds more than that. But this school fits really well. As old as it is, it has all kinds of the core spaces that adjust just perfectly. The office is the other problem. This is the front door. Nobody douses the front door. But when you park here. And then you have to crawl through an alley and come around, or go out to Hartford to come around. And this is tiny. You know, it should be as big as that sort of brown space there. It's way undersized. If you've been in the principal's office, it's hard to move around in there. It's very tiny. So those are the sort of deficiencies that we have to address. Programmatically, some academic space, some administrative space, some student dining space, and some building services gets us there. 9,000 square feet of new space and only a couple thousand square feet of reprogrammed space. So the challenge at Kilbourne isn't the internal problems, it's the external problems. This is in the wrong place. This is the way parents drop kids off today, and they come in back in the janitor's room right here, or they have to walk around. But we deal with it, we adapt to it. There's some nice drop-off zone space along Hartford, but right now the buses use it. Otherwise, programmatically, the school doesn't have too many needs. We're underparked by a lot. Our neighbors are also underparked. Maybe not so much here, but the library is always busy. The imagining of putting driveways or parking lots in the front yard of the school are just breathtakingly impossible in my mind. It's just too beautiful and too traditional. We own the park up here. We want to obviously keep green space at a premium. But we might have to do some remote parking because there's just not even close to enough parking to support this school on the school property. And so our idea of having parents continue to serve here and buses to serve here is fine. First concept was to flip that, because what I want to do is create a new office, all the right spaces, a secure entry that faces a street. It isn't the front door, but it is where everybody's going to know that the front door of Kilbourne in the future could be. It also allows me to create a little bit of additional space for dining and kitchen, and doing so I have a singular addition again. And I have some pretty simple reprogramming effort to turn what is an undersized office here back into 2 classrooms like exist on the other side of the front door. I'm not sure that wasn't the way the building was originally designed, and the offices were here in the middle of the core. So the building stuff seems simple. The site stuff is really challenging, and it's really sort of destined to be controversial in terms of how we do it. So as we look, gaining these 2 classrooms back is pretty easy. Creating a new office and a new secure entry is pretty easy. It's the one place on this site that there isn't something already there. If it's not a paved surface, a parking lot, a grass surface, it's actually the one place where there's a little room to grow this building. And we don't have to grow it much, but we do need to get there. And so we can put 3 classrooms on top of what's an expanded cafeteria and new offices. We can create a new secure entry at the widest hallway, at the highest volume traffic place in the school. And we don't have to touch much else. We don't have to get involved into devastating things. You have a fabulous media center here. You have the biggest gym. You have an auditorium like no middle school anywhere I've ever been has. All these great things. And so the building concept is the easy part. What we really have to solve is how we're going to deal with in and out. Where are we going to separate buses? Where are we going to put parents? How are we going to deal with underparking? This is a very ambitious suggestion, and it's done at the same nobody's permission to make it but mine. If we cut through here, if we make a deal with the building owner here, and we take some additional spaces from them for some maybe staff parking, and we'd be able to stack buses in a very clean, very good turning radius sort of way to get them in and out of the school, and let parents and the front door and the pickup and drop off be where it wants to be on Hartford. And so that going to take external agreements and external cooperation that I have no control over. The idea that buses would do this turn would take out most of these parking spaces to make those radiuses. So this, it just seems like it's low-hanging fruit. Can we get there? And I don't know that we can, because I can't speak for the ownership of this property. But it would allow us, for a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the afternoon to stack 9 buses behind the school and get kids safely into buses without any cross parking, without any overlaps, without any zones where you can't see. And parents then can be in and out and picking up kids on Hartford, which at night after school, that's where parents do that. But they can't do it during school because the buses use that. So the other thing then is to be very cautious and very judicious, but maybe take some space from Hartford Park and create some off-site parking. For staff and the library, I don't know how this all gets worked out, but it seems like we need it, and it makes sense to plan for it. It's not necessarily a slam dunk that we want to take that green space. But what we would do is just move the softball field over, keep the soccer field, put back some newer basketball courts, restore the park for both a neighborhood and a school asset, but get 42 more parking spaces over here that would take the load off the craziness that's there now. When you go to visit Kilbourne, you're lucky if you can find an on-site parking space. And then once you find it, you find that you have to walk around the entire building to go in your front door. So that's a big challenge, and it's a big need here, and it's a big opportunity here. We want to make sure we do that. To me, this is a slam dunk, creating a secure office, creating the spaces that you currently don't have, support space, clinic space, guest space, and a secure entry, which is super important for a school with this many doors.